Hi there everybody, this is Major Cunningham of the Astro Department. So what we're going to do here today is hopefully add to a video that one of our previous instructors made several years ago about how to build a whiz wheel. And what we're going to do here is first I'd like to just run over what we need and then I'll go ahead and build it and try and narrate just a little bit and we'll go from there. Okay, so the first thing I have is your instructor should provide this to you. There are 3 pages of essentially materials printed out on cardstock. Then your instructor should give to you at your request or just provide to the whole class. And essentially each are a part of the whiz wheel. You'll maybe hopefully note page 1 of 3, page 2 of 3, and page 3 of 3, and that actually kind of guides you through the instruction of putting together the whiz wheel. So okay, first thing I'd like to say is this. Alright, so we need a set of scissors, 2 paper clips, a brass tack, a pin. You're not going to actually leave the pin in, but you're going to need that. I'm going to use several colors to highlight, and that'll come later. But I also have tape. I have single-sided tape, that's going to be useful, and I have double-sided tape, even though it's not labeled. It's old tape of mine, but I'm going to use that in place of glue, which is another way you can secure your whiz wheel. But in any event, also there's a stapler. We're going to need that. So let's begin. Okay, first thing, I'm going to start with the Astro 310 whiz wheel. Page 1 of 3. Let's see if you can see that. Page 1 of 3. First thing we want to do, take our scissors, very carefully cut around the outside of this kind of double-sided shape here. I always have to cut pretty slowly. Maybe some of you out there have the same issue. Have to be very careful. Alright, cutting along the curve here. Alright, let's cut the bottom round part here if I don't essentially cut that too closely. I hope I don't. We're just going to cut along this black border here that surrounds shapes. Okay, I'm going to go all the way up to where you can see those 2 little end vectors hitting each other. Not going to cut any farther just a second. Let's see. Maybe I'll bend him over so I can cut a little easier. I'm going to try and get right up in there. There we go. Almost done. Alright, so now I should have a shape that looks kind of just like this. I'm going to go ahead and put my junk to the side as I go. What you'll note here is that step number 2 shows how this is supposed to look. And so now it's time to get out our 2 paper clips and bend them like so. I'll put that up there. Let's see here. Started off looking about the same. There we go. Not quite. Let's see here. Ooh, so you're going to take this paper clip, kind of bend the outer edge so that you've got sort of a similar structure. I'm sure you guys will do a more precise version than I'm doing, but see how that kind of matches? This is basically going to be one of the axes that allows our whiz wheel to tilt. It's a low-tech device, but it will certainly help on GRs and homeworks. Okay, let's see, I'm going to do a little more adjustment here. Okay, pretty close. I'll adjust them a little more later. Okay, put that to the side for now and show what we're actually going to do. Let's see here. You know what? I'll put my pieces all over here to the side. Okay, so in place of glue, I'm going to go ahead and tape down my paper clips. After folding kind of along this black line here, so I can make myself have a double-sided orbital plane. That's what this ends up being. I'm going to try and make that crease nice and tight. Alright. So if you'll see here along this, well, we'll call it the end vector, and you'll learn about that. Essentially what we're going to do is bind our paper clips, tape them down so that they essentially match that area. Let's see here. Alright, just want to line him up as well as I can. Start off with the other side. Once I get him pointing out that axis, I'm going to go ahead and try and tape him down. Always a little bit of an act of skill to knock that part out, but I'm just going to go ahead and secure him with tape. And I often do a little bit of overkill when it comes to tape and glue. This project is really kind of a matter of putting on your arts and crafts pants from when you're in kindergarten. Except that it's going to help you in your undergrad. Okay, I've got one, and then I can fold him over, kind of give myself an idea of what the other should look like. Now what you might have to do is cut a little bit, just a little bit up this axis right here, just to give yourself paper clip room, or give your paper clip some room. Let's see here. Good, okay. So, see if I can get him poking out where he should. And again, we want this aligned kind of along that, not kind of, exactly if you can, along that end vector. Okay, so now that I've got him, I'll go ahead, let's see. Yeah, go ahead and secure him with some tape. I'm just using single-sided tape to secure the paper clips. Oops. Always good to have that happen. No drama. I'll just go ahead and make sure he's still pointing about the right way. What I should do is have one of these already. Oh, this. Double check. Oh no. No, don't double down on myself. Ooh. Okay. Whew. Just bend him up a little bit. Because I want to make sure he's pointing along that axis. It's looking good. After some errors, finally looking good. Again, now that I've got the right position, I just go to town with the tape. Make sure he's locked in place. Alright. Good, so that accomplishes step 2. Alright, let's pull out our next bit here. Okay. And kind of as a precursor to this step, I'll fold this over, and you can see, thankfully, that this did eventually end up working out. I've got a paper clip sticking out of each side here. That's what you want. Okay, so step 4 is going to be cutting out. Oh, sorry, I missed step 3. Where was step 3? Oh, yeah. This is where my double-sided tape comes in. Go ahead and lay down a pretty good layer here of double-sided tape. Again, you can use glue for this part. I honestly didn't have a glue stick, and much need for one in my day-to-day life, so could not find one. Instead, decided I would go ahead and just use double-sided tape, and I think that'll work well. All right, so let's fold. Actually, well, I take it back. You want these edges to be able to be pretty well sewn down, or pretty well taped down, if you will. So I'm going to put tape all along the edges. This double-sided tape is a lifesaver. Oh, ripped a little bit. But if you're not a huge arts and crafts person like myself, same thing may happen to you. We'll go ahead and fix that tear in just a second. Ooh. Oh, that's not so bad. No, this is not part of the official instructions to tear and then have to repair. But I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it anyway. Tape right there. Good. Okay, now time to fold over. Let's stick. Just kind of rubbing it a little bit to make sure that all that double stick tape adheres. Now we've got step one pretty much accomplished. Look at that. Woo! Even a little tear couldn't stop us from getting step one completed. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. All right. Step 4 says cut out the donut below. And so here's what I'm going to do. What I always have to do is kind of like when you were cutting out a snowflake, if you ever did that back in arts and crafts when you were a kid. Fold it over and give yourself a little bit of room there. I'm going to go ahead and do something like this. Point is, you want to be able to get your scissors in here. And if you can, cut out this circle. Alright, give myself a little bit of a start there, so that's good. Cut as carefully as I can inside the donut, if you will. Let's see here. Okay. I'll try and cut around this little half circle. Tell us our inclination, but we'll get to that in a later video about how to use this. Get in there. Let's see here. About there. I think I'm going to come at this from the other direction. Alright, so did it. Put that over in our trash pile. A few extra little bits there. Alright. Go ahead and cut this out from the main area. Let's see. This donut here, actually, you'll see in a second, is going to spin around within a little frame we build in the next step. Almost done. Okay, so I've got this donut shape now. Cut such that these little ears, if you will, that are basically going to tell us our inclination, are cut out. I like to fold along the black line just to give myself a little bit of a reference and bring it back up like this. Okay, so I'll set him aside now as well. While we're here, I recommend cutting out these elliptical shapes. So I'm going to do that real quick while I've got this piece here. We'll set these aside for use in a little bit. Not cutting as closely as I could or probably should. We'll see how that affects the final product here. There. Put that in my trash pile. This up the ribs. Two elliptical shapes now. Again, I'm going to put those aside just for now. Put that in my trash pile. Okay, time to combine what we did in step 1 to what we have in step 2. Alright, so I'm going to flip the donut over. Before I do that, basically what we're going to do here is before we flip over, you want to have this, hopefully you can kind of see, the orbital plane with this little, we'll talk about this in class, but this little omega, this little W looking thing, going up and to the left. You want to overlay that under, or underlay that I suppose, under the AN line. And that's what we're going to be doing. When we flip over, we're basically going to be stapling. Woo, going to be stapling the piece that we built in the first step to the donut. What you're going to want to do is just kind of like, again, I'm going to show. You overlay the donut on top, and then let the orbital plane part peek out above the donut before you flip the donut over. Okay, so you want your Whiz Wheel looking like this so far. Okay, so let's flip. Now, this part takes a little bit of just making sure that your staple, that's your paper clip, is under the DN. We'll start off with the DN. The DN part like that. You're going to want to give yourself another staple right on top. What you're basically doing is securing the paper clip swivel. So you can see that I have two lines essentially securing that. Now, if I can, I'm going to go ahead and put a staple on top of those staples to secure those staples down. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. I want to make sure that my paper clip is lined up under AN. Let's see here. Oh boy, that's about right. Let's Let's see here. Go ahead and do my staple thing as I did before. Give myself a staple square, if you will. A little dirty, but got the job done. So now we'll raise these up a little bit. Check this out. We've got our orbital plane can rotate within the equatorial plane. Why does that matter? Well, we'll get to that, I promise. Okay, stapler aside for now. All right. Let's see here, people. I'm just reading the instructions here. Yeah, we're good so far. Okay, I'll go ahead and put this away for now. All right, now we are on our last step. So the first thing here is going to be, you're going to cut along here, 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 down around here, over here, here, here. Lots of cutting to do in this step. This bit is essentially the outer shell of your whiz wheel. It's going to secure the equatorial plane that's going to rotate from the top. Process over here. Big circle cut out, half circle, I guess. Those are instructions, so we'll leave those there. Cutting this last circle bit here. These contain instructions too, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of leave those there. Last step. Now you're going to very carefully cut along this inner part of the circle here. Let's see how carefully I can do it. There we go. I think we're on the right track here. There. there. Again, I cut a little too far. This is just essentially an image of what it's supposed to look like again. Put that to the side. I'll patch up that little cut in a second here. Let's see here. Okay. Here's what we're going to do next. Flip this over. And as before, fold along those black lines. Up. Do the same thing for the other side here. So I've got these little wings folded down. That's what we want here. Try and make a good crease with that. Those my instructions. All right, we're going to do the same thing with these little side wings here. Ready? Be careful because the cardstock is a little tough to fold. There's not much to work with. You can see I'm trying to fold along this black line here. Oof, this one's a little tougher, but not so bad. Okay, give ourselves that little wing there. Just kind of run something flat over it to get a better crease. It's just my style, my technique, if you will. Do the same thing for this other side. So a little bit of a better crease. There we go. Okay. Now that we have these folds, here's the destination. We're essentially going to put in the piece that we already made. Inside here, we're going to fold that down, we're going to fold that down, and fold that down to kind of keep it in place. And at that point, we're going to have the ability to actually rotate this around this little structure. I'll show you what I mean. So we'll flip the A and D end side, if you can see that. We want to flip that face down. Slip it right in here. So that. Ooh. So that, a little plain stick up here above both the donut and this outer wall. Go ahead and secure this and I'll show you what I mean. Secure both of these flaps down with a little tape on the side. And you see my tape overlaps a little bit on the side. That's going to be it. tape. Maybe not using too much this time. Not bad, if I do say so myself. Secure the middle here. Oh, looking good. Okay. Make sure I get the other side here. Lock down again. You can use glue to secure. I prefer to use tape, a little less messy, and I don't have any glue. Okay. Good. So what we should have now is something that can both tilt, right? Your orbital plane can tilt, and then your right ascension of the ascending node, which is this little AN area here, can swivel. Basically that inner donut. You want that to be able to swivel cleanly and easily within. Yeah. Now at this point, just a quick heads up, you want your whiz wheel aligned like this, and what I mean is you can see how you have this big I hat, big omega going like this. I want my AN to be lined up with that, and I want my N vector to be lined up with the AN to be lined up with the I. As you use your whiz wheel, things are going to tilt and change. I just mean if your N is taped down to your DN side, you want to go ahead and fix that at this point. Careful of your staples. A few of mine are coming loose, as you can see. So heads up if you have the same issue. Okay, last step. Grab these bad boys again. Here's what we're going to do. These are basically two sides of the same coin, if you will. You're going to want them, if you see this E side right here, this little E arrow I should say, you want that to line up with the E arrow from the other side, so that if you flip them, they kind of look like a mirror image of each other. Okay, that's what I'll do. And I'm going to stick to my double-sided tape approach. It's coming off the side a little bit. Can't have that. Oh, my trash pile. Good. Okay, I'll go ahead and merge these two. Little rubs to make sure that all the tape sticks. All right. I'm going to come to the whiz wheel like so. You'll see that there's a little, let me separate these two. There's an arrow here. This arrow goes from E, the little E arrow, around in the direction of spacecraft motion to this what looks like a V, but it's actually a nu. It's a Greek nu. It's called true anomaly. It basically dictates the spacecraft's position. It can be anywhere from 0 degrees all the way around to 360. The arrow is just to give you a sense of spacecraft motion. You want to have this E essentially aligned with the N, with the AN, and the I. If you see this little A right here in the middle, that's not an orbital element or anything. It just gives you a place to stick your tack. Basically, I'm going to stick this tack through both the A on this little ellipse and the A here to give myself an idea of where I'm going to put my brass tack, and I'll show you that in just a moment here. You can see that I've stuck it all the way through the A area. And Again, the way this is going to align is like this. Want those two A slots to line up on top of one another. I'm going to take my brass tack, first stick it through the little hole that I made. In my case, looks like I need to make it a little bit bigger. I'll use my thumbtack to do that. It's tough cardstock, so you've got to give yourself a little bit of an opening. The reason it's tough is so that your Whiz Wheel lasts more than 1 GR. Open up this slot here just a little bit too. I'm just kind of doing a circular motion to give myself artificially a little bit of a bigger slot so that brass tack can go through. Alright, let's see how I did. Okay, good news there. Alright, so I'll line all this up in a second, but as you do with the brass tack, you lock it down here in the bottom. What I'm going to do is just give it a little bit of extra help, lock it down with some tape. I'm not going to tape the top side because we want that, it's called the eccentricity vector, you want that to be able to swivel like this. Good. Okay, so our Whiz Wheel is essentially complete now. And what a lot of folks do is highlight their Whiz Wheel. And I'll show you that in a second. But the way you start off using the Whiz Wheel is to have the AN lined up with the I, the N lined up with the AN, the E vector lined up with this black line here. You have a tool you can use on any GR. The orbital plane tilts, argument perigee shifts around, and then you can use your finger to trace out true anomaly. It's a great tool, highly recommend. Here is kind of the highlighting that you can do.